President Trump's name is getting scrubbed from the Kennedy Center. A whistleblower revealed a DOGE plan to mark living people as dead. And it's time to learn a thing or two about flesh-eating screwworms. That's some of what we'll get to on The 7 from The Washington Post. I'm Hannah Jewell. It's Friday, June 5th. Let's get you caught up with today's 7 stories. Number 1. The Senate rejected an effort to bar the Trump administration from creating a controversial payout fund. President Donald Trump's $1.8 billion fund would compensate people who claim they were wrongfully prosecuted or investigated by the Justice Department. It has triggered a backlash from members of both parties. Some Senate Republicans said they feared the fund could be used to compensate people convicted of attacking the Capitol on January 6, 2021. Yesterday, Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer introduced an amendment to block the payout fund. It was tied to a bill to fund ICE and Border Patrol.
My very first amendment offers Republicans a choice. Do you support Donald Trump's $2 billion taxpayer-funded slush fund, or do you want to protect the American people and their paychecks by outlawing this criminal, crony, cashback program permanently?
But Republican Senator Bernie Moreno of Ohio urged his colleagues to stay focused on the immigration funding bill throughout a long session of voting on amendments.
They are going to play so many games over the next 8, 9, 10 hours. Bring it on. Because what we will do today is we will make certain that communities are safe in this country. We are going to fund immigration enforcement and Border Patrol. And I urge my Republican colleagues to stay united on that singular mission.
Ultimately, just 3 Republicans joined Democrats in voting for the payout blocking amendment, and it failed. But early this morning, the bill to fund ICE and Border Patrol was passed by the Senate. Next, it heads to the House before it reaches Trump's desk. Number 2 is a Post exclusive. According to an internal memo, ICE will stop reporting the deaths of newly released detainees. In 2021, President Joe Biden's administration adopted a new requirement for ICE to report when detainees died not only when they were in custody, but also in a 30-day period after their release. That rule was meant to prevent the agency from simply releasing people who were extremely unwell just to avoid having to report their deaths. Earlier that year, a man who had contracted the coronavirus while detained at a detention center in California died 3 days after ICE released him. Now, ICE is facing pressure to improve medical care in its facilities after reporting the deaths of 18 detainees in the first 5 months of this year. So, the agency is eliminating the 30-day reporting requirement. Number 3. The Kennedy Center ordered staff to begin removing Trump's name. Last week, a federal judge ruled that Trump's name had been illegally added to the storied arts institution in Washington, D.C. So, in a 3-page memo yesterday, the center's general counsel told employees they needed to scrub all references to Trump, restoring the venue's title to the John F. Kennedy Center for the Performing Arts. Employees were directed to immediately change email signatures, letterhead, and other documents, and were given until next Friday to modify signs, brochures, ID cards, and the center's website. Meanwhile, there was other news yesterday about Trump's various projects to remake the nation's capital. For one thing, he wants to build a bridge from the Lincoln Memorial to the Potomac River. And as for his White House ballroom, a watchdog group found that donors to the project won $50 billion in federal contracts after making their gifts. Number 4. DOGE officials planned to mark 2.7 million living people as dead. Jeremy Schofield worked for the Social Security Administration for 25 years. He helped lead the agency's IT modernization efforts before leaving in October. That's when he said he refused to help DOGE implement a plan to use a government identity database to effectively erase people from the financial system. When people are moved to the death master file, they could be cut off from wages, banking, government benefits, and other services. In a whistleblower disclosure, Schofield said the plan was meant to intimidate and worsen the finances of immigrants, but that it would also have affected some U.S. citizens and permanent residents. The Social Security Administration said the plan was not ultimately carried out. In an interview with The Post, Schofield said he was speaking out publicly because he believed that Americans need to understand how government data can be misused, and in some cases, already has been. Number 5. The National Park Service ordered the removal of woke quotes from the Bunker Hill Monument. The monument in Boston commemorates the first major battle between revolutionary forces and the British Army, which took place in 1775. The monument includes panels with quotes from historic figures and other writings. And apparently, one visitor took offense to one of those quotes. They didn't like that it related to women's suffrage. After complaining to park staff about it, they followed up with an email. That sparked a review and an order from the National Park Service to remove 3 quotes ahead of the monument's anniversary on June 17th. The order is in line with Trump's policy to scrub what he considers corrosive ideology from federal institutions. While the quote about women's suffrage will remain, other ones that are anti-war, anti-slavery, and pro-immigrant will be removed. One of those quotes was from Vietnam War veteran Bester Cram, who told The Post he was completely outraged. Preservation and parks groups also oppose the move. A flesh-eating screwworm has been found in Texas, sparking fears for U.S. cattle. That's number 6. If you're eating something right now, you might want to stop for this item. In Zavala County, Texas, a flesh-eating screwworm was found on the umbilical cord of a 3-week-old calf. The parasite is called a New World screwworm. It lays eggs in open wounds or orifices, and hatched maggots burrow into and feed on flesh. Sorry to tell you that. The pest affects livestock, pets, and wildlife, and in rare cases, it can also affect humans. 6 decades ago, the screwworms were largely eradicated from the U.S. They are typically found in South America and parts of the Caribbean, but have been moving north since 2023. For over a year, the U.S. Department of Agriculture has been trying to stop them from entering the country. There have been no further cases detected in Texas, and the agency says it's working to contain and eradicate the parasite. And at number 7, there's a surprising science-backed reason that being in nature makes you feel good. Spending time in or near nature has a lot of potential benefits. Research has linked it to improved cardiovascular health, lower blood pressure, and reduced risk factors for chronic diseases like type 2 diabetes. That's especially true if you're engaging in physical activity while you're out in nature. But a new study, which reviewed survey data from more than 50,000 people, found another benefit you might not expect. Contact with nature is also associated with improved body image. In the study, it increased self-compassion and perceived restoration, and that led to greater life satisfaction. There are lots of reasons time in nature could contribute to these positive changes. It can promote a calmer mental state and chill out negative thoughts. It can also offer a break from the constant onslaught of beauty-focused messaging in the media. So if you've not been feeling yourself lately, make sure you spend some time in nature this weekend. That's the show for this week. The staff writers of The Seven are Jamie Ross, Izan Akabau, and me. Rennie Svirnovsky is our producer. John Taylor is our editor. Copy editing by Brian Malasix, Rebecca Branford, and Kendra Nichols. Mixing and sound design is by Jim Briggs and Justin Garish. Our theme music is by Edith Mudge. I'm Hannah Jewell. Thanks for listening and have a great weekend. I'll meet you back here on Monday.